can you introduce yourselves and tell us a little about your family?
All right. So I'm Craig, and this is my wife, Anna. I was born and raised in South Carolina and went to the Air Force at 17, so we've lived all over, lived a lot of places, and we decided that when we were going to retire, we were coming back to South Carolina. We recently moved from Florida to here and decided on the Chapin area. You know, we love being close to the lake. The area is so beautiful, a lot of wildlife, deer running through here, and we like the subdivision, the size of the lots and that kind of stuff. And like I said, we're retired, and we just we try to do things to stay busy. We're used to being busy, so we're a little bored in our retirement. So,
what made you decide it was time to build a custom home?
So it took us a while to come to that decision. My wife was not very excited.
I've never built a home before, so for me it was absolutely brand new endeavor, and
you were scared of that.
I really was not comfortable with that. Yeah. And it actually changed immediately after we started talking to Chris. To me, that was the first indicator that it's going to be a good experience. We had the first meeting with him.
Yeah, she was totally scared to death, and I had done it once before in Florida. So I was telling her about all the good, the house is new, you don't have to repair a lot of things, you get a new roof, you get all this stuff. And she was like, yeah, and you constantly have problems with the contractor, and you this and that. I've heard all these horror stories and whatever. And I was like, well, that's why you take your time and you do your research and you pick a good contractor. And so as she went through this process, I think she totally changed her mind and realized it was pretty good idea.
How did you hear about Hidden Oaks Custom Homes?
We knew we wanted to be in the Chapin area near the lake. There's not a ton of open lots and properties near the lake. They go really quick, and they can be really expensive. This neighborhood was fairly new and had some nice sized lots. So my brother-in-law is actually a realtor. So he was driving us around. We were looking at areas. We loved this subdivision. I had seen it online. And we happened to be driving through, and we parked at the pool. And we were talking with a guy that I guess works for the landowner, and we were noticing how nice the pool clubhouse was. And so he's like, he goes, well, one of our contractors that builds in here actually built the pool house. So we're like, okay, well, we'd be interested in talking with him. And that was Chris of Hidden Oaks. He got him on the phone. We just started talking, and he was asking us what we were looking for. He goes, everything you're describing sounds like a house I'm already building down the street.
Yeah, go take a look at it.
Yeah, go take a look at it, see what you think. So, yeah. So we walked through, and it looked great.
So what stood out to you about Hidden Oaks compared to the other builders?
We actually checked with other builders here. I just didn't have the warm fuzzy after talking with them that I did with Chris. And so we talked with two other builders, and just at the end, the conversation just flowed better with Chris. He seemed more actually interested in what we wanted instead of what they wanted to give us. Plus, he already had houses under construction here, and they built the pool house, so we could see the quality, because that's one thing that's everybody's going to tell you they're a quality builder. I mean, that's just the way people talk these days. But to me, you got to go look at someone's house. I kind of have this thing about model homes. I think builders tend to really pay attention to details in their model homes because they know everybody's looking. But what I want to see is what a real home that they're building for somebody looks like. So we went and looked at one of those, and that's when I knew the quality was above what we had been seeing. While the price was not the highest, it wasn't the lowest, but I think it was the best mix of quality and price. So it was kind of clear, our decision to go with Hidden Oaks. So.
How involved did you feel in the process and decisions being made?
By the time we selected this house and said, yeah, this is what we want, and got with Chris and did everything, it was pretty much just framed. The roof was done, it was just framed. So it was great because we still got to pick a lot of the stuff. We were very excited. It was kind of a whirlwind trip for us because we were still living in Florida. So we had about normally you could take a lot of time picking this stuff out. We had 2 days, I think. What I really liked again about Hidden Oaks and Chris was walking us through and reminding us about things that just typically a builder just wants to get done and get paid and everything else. But it was all the little details that he was reminding us about. Like, for example, he's like, hey, have you guys thinking about mounting your TV over the fireplace? Are you mounting a TV in your bedroom? Are you doing this? And just little things about blocking, put blocking in the wall so that your TV would be secure. Same thing with the outside, and asking about details about, hey, because she's really big, and I guess most women are really big on the master closet.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course.
and so,
Yeah.
got to have places for shoes, got to have places for things, got to have a small corner for my husband's stuff. He really asked us what we wanted and tweaked it. Same thing with the pantry, same thing with the room over.
And I mean, the really great thing was that if I would have an idea and I would be like, okay, I want it this way. And instead of saying, oh, okay, he actually said, you know what? Yeah, I understand what you want, but have you thought of this? Because what you're suggesting is actually not going to work. Or
Or it
the
may
other
cause this
idea,
problem,
may
or,
cause a problem, or this would be better. And in the very end, everything that he suggested was exactly what we chose to do. And even like, okay, guys, do you want to put the extra air conditioning unit up in the room over the garage? We hadn't thought about that. We haven't thought about the fans that would probably need to go there. But his idea was, this is what I would do in my home.
Yeah.
So again, just really appreciated the advice and honestly the hand-holding that he did, because I had a lot of ideas and he was very patient about it.
And not just patient, but I'm a details guy. I worked for the Air Force for 42 years. And very much into the details. And one of the things, and you'll remember me telling you this during the construction, is we called him and we made a change. Sometimes you're too far gone, but we called him and we made a change. And, typically that would take forever. We sent him something like a Wednesday night, and when we came out Friday, the plans that were sitting there on the counter already had the updates on them. It was like a day and a half later. Yeah. And so I was like, holy moly. That's when I knew he kind of listened to you, didn't delay. I was like, wow, this is unheard of to have someone make a change that quick and jump on it.
Super responsive.
So that's when I think you started feeling better, like, hey, yeah, I think this is going to be way better than I thought. So we were very happy with the whole process.
How did Hidden Oaks handle challenges or changes during the project?
Well, I mean, gosh, we didn't have that many challenges. I would say, really the only issue we kind of had with landscaping, which was a sub, but I thought it was pretty cool how, sometimes the builder tries to pawn you off and get you to go deal with the sub, and Chris was like, oh no, I'll text them, because we couldn't get a hold of them. But he called them, and next thing you know, they're like, oh yeah, we'll be there tomorrow, and we'll fix this, we'll fix that.
And then he was there during the conversation, because my idea was, okay, I want this to be there. I want that drainage to go this way. And he was like, okay, let me give you the drainage map. That actually will explain why. Yeah. So again, it's not like, oh, it just has to be done this way.
Yeah.
He was super attentive to details and explaining on why things need to be done a certain way.
And the code, he wouldn't just say it has to be this way. He would say, here's the code, and here's what it says. So to us, not knowing the code, which again, that's not our area of expertise, but he took the time to explain it to us, show it to us, and actually showed us the actual paperwork rather than just say, this is what it is, live with it. He just doesn't do that.
You kind of answered the question, what was the communication like throughout the process? And that sounds like it was pretty spot on.
Yeah, the communication was great. One of the things that he did that I've never seen before was he had this app. It was called Builder's Trend. And one of the things that was cool about it is we could, even though if we were in Florida or if we were in another part of town or somewhere, we could actually see the progress. We could actually see somebody come on site. We would get pictures, like, oh, today was the floors or today was the windows. Yeah. And so there were a lot of times where we would feel like we had to drive out. Well, you almost didn't with the Builder's Trend. It would give you the schedule, and it would say, like, on tap this week is the roofer, and on tap this week is the tile guy. And it was just so cool to see that, because you could kind of see that everything was going along as it should be. Like if it said that the tile guy was supposed to be there on Wednesday, they were there on Wednesday. So I think that between the communication with him, Noah, and there's another kid that was really helpful, texting us back and forth, and Chris was always on the text, and sometimes Noah would respond, and sometimes Chris would respond, sometimes they both respond. So you were getting a lot of communication. We didn't really have an issue with communication at all, so it was good.
So what are some of your favorite features or spaces in the home?
We had our dream kitchen, because we had our dream kitchen in our previous house, and we sold that house. So we kind of recreated our dream kitchen. So we really love the countertops and the cabinetry in the kitchen. You know, a lot of people waste the area under the stairs where the stairs come down. There's that open area, but there's a cool little niche that he built under there. And he showed us pictures and said, "Hey, how would you like this under the stairs?" And to me, that's one of our favorite spots downstairs. And also the grandkids like to sit there. They can read a book. You know, they can do whatever. And I love my office upstairs. I have a way cooler office than her. But
The porch, the biggest
porch.
one.
Yeah.
So the funniest thing is that every neighbor knows us as that house with the beautiful porch.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the outdoor fireplace is a wooden fireplace. The indoor fireplace, again, Chris did an amazing job of matching what sort of my idea was. I tried to replicate the fireplace in Italy, and he did an amazing job just finding everything and making it look exactly like how I want it.
One of the things kind of cool is people say, "Oh, well, where do you live?" And so when we point to the house or give them the address, they always say the two things. They always go, "Oh, you're the house with the amazing back porch with the stone fireplace," or "You're the one with that amazing garage door." Our garage door is like a work of art. It's like a real wood. The finish on it's just amazing. And so that's the two things that is so funny. They always go, like, "Oh yeah, you're the one with the garage door. You're the one with the amazing back porch. We see you out there all the time." So it's nice that other people, we love them, but it's also nice that other people, you know, like them too. So
did the final result meet or even exceed your expectations, and how so?
We had pretty high expectations. I'm pretty picky. You're probably maybe a little bit more pickier than me, but if I had to say, I would admit that it was probably exceeded my expectations. In my first home, I had many challenges, but I just didn't have many challenges in this one. And I think it just chalk it up to the good communication, you know, just choosing a quality builder as opposed to, we do have some houses in this neighborhood that had chosen other builders and they have a lot of issues. Some of them are still not even sold to this day. Not only do we feel like we chose the right builder, but if, God forbid, this house burnt down or something happened or a hurricane knocked it down, we would choose the same builder again. So that says a lot.
What would you say to someone who is thinking about building a custom home but feels overwhelmed or unsure where to start?
I would say that we were that way. So check people's reputation. A lot of people don't do that. They just talk to the builder. But I don't think everyone is just 100% honest. Or like I said, everybody will tell you they're a quality builder. We also checked online. There was good reviews online. One of the things that I really liked, that there was a video on your website where Chris was talking about how the company started and how his mom was in the business, and it just seemed genuine. So I told her actually after the first meeting, I said, it's probably going to be the one, but let's look at the other two. And then of course after the second, it was like, okay, still him, but let's look at the next, you know. Yeah. And so I don't think the process is as daunting, and I think you'll agree. She was scared to death to build, and I think she was just like, it's just too much. Let's don't do it. But I think that you're a believer now. I think that you're...
He made it so easy. He made it so easy. Everything was... There was always a suggestion. There was always a recommendation. And then if I would want to do something, again, he would be like, well, I'd really hope you will reconsider because of, like...
great example was the stairs.
The staircase. I was
she wanted one color. And we were dead set on that color. And Chris goes,
he's like, this is
I love you, but let me show you something. Yeah, let me show you something first. Yeah, this is beautiful white oak. You
don't
really
do that.
And so he did a sample and he showed us. And I was like, oh, thank God we didn't do that. Because it wasn't going to look the way I thought it was going to look. And this looks so much nicer. He'll do what you want, but he also knows what works.
What's not going to work,
Yeah. Didn't jump on it for saying, oh, that's a stupid idea. Just said, let me just show you what this looks like, and then, whatever you want to do, it's your house, And then once he showed us, like, oh my God, thank God we didn't paint that white oak. So I think just good communication, good knowledge. He's been doing this a while. He's got houses all over the place.
Real quality, quality materials. And I think there are unique features that I'll recognize Chris's house now that I know how it looks. They stand out because they are not a cookie cutter. So I really like that. Even though I recognize the features, none of the houses are the same.
Yeah. We drove through Stewart Landing one time. It's another subdivision on the lake. And didn't even have to look at the address. We were driving through and we go, oh, that's Chris's. So And we were right. These all picked it up.
How would you describe the level of trust you had with Hidden Oak's team throughout the build, and why does that matter to you?
I could tell early on, like, when they told me something, like, they wouldn't tell me, like, it's A and then it turns out to be B. When they said somebody was going to be on site, or like there was an issue with one of the contractors when they were putting in the siding or whatever, they nicked the gas line. And it happens, you know. Other builders would either try to figure that out, a way to hide it or patch it or whatever, and they had to rip a part of the wall out. And so I came and I was like, there's part of the wall ripped out, and they're like, contractor hit one of their nails, hit the gas line, so we're taking the whole thing out, making sure it's perfect. We're not just gonna slap a repair on it. But some people would try to hide that, and so there were things like that. They would call us, text us, and say, hey, we're going to do this. I think there was an issue with one of the tiles on the floor, and they didn't wait for us to catch things. They caught things. And see, that's what I think. That's how I know I can trust somebody. Yeah. You know, it's like, it's easy to trust somebody if you're there verifying everything, but when they bring things to your attention that they didn't have to, they could easily hit it. That's when I knew that we were with people that we could trust. And so it was that way from Chris all the way through the project managers. And our dealings that we had with the subs, the same way. The AC guy, the electrical guy, all those guys were very upfront and really easy to deal with. So.
Good. You guys bring up such good points that I would never have thought of. If someone asked you why they should choose Hidden Oaks over another builder, what would you tell them?
I would say, you know, all communication and all of those things are great. But the big thing is when you buy a home is you want a quality home for the best price you can get. You want the home to last. You don't want there to be any significant issues or things that you're having to deal with way before you should. So I've seen our homes. I've seen other homes. We've walked through homes. We've seen several of Chris's homes. My thing is the build quality for what I would consider the best value. You know, not the cheapest price, but a great price for an exceptional home. And that's all you could ask for, no matter who you are. And I feel that's what we got.
I just also wanted to add that, you know, when you're dealing with a big company, sometimes you get a little lost. Yeah. And because Chris's company is fairly small, so we get the personalized attention and we get all the expertise that his family, you know, history, I mean, that's all comes together in what we get from Chris. So I think it's the best combination of what we could possibly get is what we got from Chris.
Yeah. When you go with some of these other bigger builders, you're right. The owner of the company is you're not gonna see him at your house. You know, he's not going to be calling you directly. You're going to deal with all these other people, and they're building, you know, 500 houses at once. So how much attention are you going to get? So all those things wrapped in one package is why you choose a builder like Chris.
I don't know if this is something you can add more to, but would you do it all again with Hidden Oaks? And if so, why?
Sometimes you get to a process and you just, you know, you get beat down. This is my previous house. You get beat down and you just had enough, so you just take what you get. And that's kind of the process. And so, but this one, the process was so good. I think we got an exceptional home for an exceptional price. So we had even said that before. One of the things that we love about here is we're so close to the lake. And so, you know, we were looking around. It's like, oh, I just wish we had a dock, but we're not right on the lake. But it's so funny because we both said the same thing. It was like, well, if we found one, we would just have to have Chris build the same house on that lot. So that tells you right there, it's like we weren't even thinking about another house.
Yeah, it's always like, okay, maybe if we're serious, we're going to call Chris and get his opinion about, you know, what it's going to take for him to build a house for us.
So we wouldn't even think about
that's just there's absolutely no hesitation about that.